Welcome to Vator TV, the show where we rate your pitches. I'm Bambi Francisco, and today I'm joined by Ezra Roizen, the digital media investment banker, as usual. He's a regular, and we have Drew Curtis. He joined us for another show. Drew Curtis is the founder of Fark.com, which is an aggregator of strange and humorous news. Do you want to add anything to the Fark.com?
No, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. And today we're going to look at three pitches. We're going to look at FriendFeed, which is a bit like Facebook's news feed, except it's a feed for the activity you do across the web, or at least across 23 services across the web. And Gorilla Spot, which is another advertising marketing company, as well as Carbonite, a service that lets you back up your computer for $50 a year. So
they all three basically do the same thing.
They all do. Yeah. We usually do two, but I threw in Carbonite this time because I actually really like that company, and I've been trying to cover it. So we'll do that really quickly. So you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay. So we're going to start with FriendFeed.
Hi, I'm Paul Buchheit, one of the co-founders of FriendFeed. FriendFeed is a website that makes it easy to share and discuss interesting videos, web pages, photos, anything that you found on the web or have published.
Nice job by Paul. And I should disclose Paul is also an investor in Vator. So I do think he's a really great entrepreneur. He was one of the chief architects of Google's Gmail. So if teams are important, then this, they're already off to a good start. And they have $5 million in funding.
Who funded him?
Well, Paul has some money.
Okay.
So his other partner is a Google.
So Angel invested.
And Benchmark actually went. So $5 million. They have a $20 million valuation.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's thrilled to have that broadcast across the internet.
Sure, he already told me. He told me. I asked him, so
good.
it is broadcast.
I think first off, there's a lot of innovation happening and some has been good. And we talked earlier about the Facebook thing where they started putting stuff out and everybody got mad about that.
Yeah.
And some, obviously, this one's you sign up for it. So clearly, it's a place where people will do it by their own choice, not just all of a sudden have their transactions published over the internet.
Sure.
I think that at the same time, again, what is the appetite for consumption of other people's sort of drivel? I mean, if I watch a video or this or that, how many things are people going to basically sit around and watch on an ongoing basis and basically say, you know what, I just want to sit here and watch what my other friend's doing or transactions and so on. I think Twitter, I continue to be amazed at the success of Twitter.
But it's the new age soap opera. And People and Inquirer and all of this. I mean, people are always amazed at what everybody else is doing. It's just typically stars. Now they're just amazed with themselves.
Right.
Sort of. I don't know. I think that most of the value in social network type things like what these guys are talking about is the page views generated in the process of doing whatever. The actual product produced sucks. When you get right down to it, it ends up being crap, especially no editorial control on it. You end up with a situation where pages basically, because these things generate so much page views in the construction of what you end up with, it isn't, I mean, if you compare the page views that would be generated and looking at Larry's stuff that he did today versus the amount he generated putting it together, it would be, 10 to 1, no problem.
Right.
I think to the extent that they can create a really cool sort of asynchronous or synchronous collaboration thing, people can share experiences and can actually have, like you said, they can have kind of a discussion around content or begin to have some form of shared experience. I think there's potentially some models there. I think they're just really tricky to do. We've seen social shopping, we've seen social browsing, we've seen a lot of different cracks at how do I get people on the internet to share an experience.
I agree.
And I can't think of a super successful one of those models.
But Caboodle was social shopping, and that was sold for $30 million. And 2 years ago or a year ago, it had a $9 million valuation. So it's actually that's pretty successful. Yeah, that's pretty successful. So I thought the same thing. I mean, I was on there shopping and trying to shop with other people, but I was couldn't get my friends on it. Right. So. But it's a utility for some.
So I mean, I think my guess is there's a group of people out there who clearly there's a reason why the National Enquirer is the first thing you see when you're checking out online. There's a lot of people who like to read a lot of stuff that may or may not have huge utility to them, but isn't pleasurable to read. And so if they're getting it from their friends, maybe it adds a certain level of coolness. And I'm just not dialed in on the market.
Competitors, big, small, where do they fit in? Are they a complement to somebody?
Seems a lot like Twitter, honestly. Maybe a little bit of automation so that, if you happen to be on some site or whatever, it just automatically goes out to your friends or whatnot.
I think there's a lot of competitors. Isn't it, just Loic site. What's that company called?
Seismic.
I think they're a competitor, my guess is, in some way to this. I think that
it's video Twitter.
Yeah, video Twitter. So I think that
Delicious.
Yeah, but the thing about this site, because I've been on this site, is that you can actually see what people are twittering about.
Right.
And the funny thing is that this captures all the Twitter conversations of your friends. So from what I understand, what Paul's telling me is that it's not just about who, looking at everybody twittering. It's looking at what your friends twittered about and what your friends dug or what your friends farked, is if you use yours as a word. A verb.
I like that though. You said it without cracking a smile.
And so again, I'm sure there's a community, and the question is, can he get a substantial enough audience to basically make it a monetizable community? And you just need, for these kinds of services, as Drew said, you need to have a lot of people participating.
And you got to get up above that $20 million. Did I say that again? Okay. Next, GorillaSpot.
So what we've done is we set out at GorillaSpot to build an application that allows advertisers to bring their content into the hands of the consumers and invite them to be part of the marketing process. And I'm sure some of you have seen some of the campaigns in the past where Doritos they provided you content, you got to make your own Dorito ad. But they usually provide the content and leave it there. What we wanted to do was not only work with well-known premium brands to actually give consumers the access to that content, but we wanted the application to allow them to do it very simply and very easily.
So a new way for filmmakers and marketers to engage their customers, and a way for them to get their customers to be the marketers.
I think it's great from a concept of UGC, from getting people to participate, getting people to add their thing. I wonder if there are brands that may wake up in the morning and not like their ads on certain sites.
Actually, I can speak to that. We have this issue a lot on FARC with Photoshop contests, and we've actually talked to mainstream advertisers. This scares them to death, because they have absolutely no control over it, and they can't stop anybody from putting a giant penis in the middle of a scene or whatnot. And that's exactly what they do. Look at Second Life. That's all they do with that thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And this rapidly gets out of control with the brand guys, and they really freak out about it because they don't. I mean, even if you allow them to delete stuff, they still freak out about it. They just don't want any part of it.
How do you protect? How do you get around that then?
I don't think you can. I think that's the problem. I think it's a flawed concept.
I think that I may not go as far as Drew to say it's a completely flawed concept. I think they can control the assets in video. I think there are ways potentially that these guys could control the deployment of the production assets in the video.
Yeah.
So maybe you can keep the phallus out of the middle of the video.
I think if you do that, though, I mean, regardless of whether or not a penis actually shows up in it, though, if you control the assets a little too much, nobody's going to use it.
Okay, that's true too. The other problem becomes...
This is a PG-13.
Okay, it is. But hey, it's anatomy. You might as well just say large toe. The reality is, though, where does the ad get placed? It's not just what's in the ad; it's where is the ad.
Right. So what if they just kept it within their social circles, a social network? Can they do that? Does that make sense? What if the guy's like,
3/4 of the ad is how he, his idol is Manson, and and so and yet he's advertising, he's got a Barbie doll ad up there or something. I don't know if Mattel really would be stoked or whoever makes Barbie
even amongst your
friends. So do you think this company
like,
will make money, or do you think this is going to have to evolve into some other?
I actually think the UGC ad thing is clever. I think that the getting advertisers to feel really comfortable with that content being anywhere could be a challenge for them developing a network, and there may have to be some mechanism for controlling where that content is deployed, or at least the ability to say, you know what, we don't want it deployed on that site, and because where your brand goes is actually really, really important to advertisers. I don't think that's going to become less important over time. It's going to become more important over time.
And by that too, I would say also that because advertisers want such strict control over it, and I definitely don't agree with that. I mean, I don't think they should worry about the fact that that's going on, because consumers know, especially when they see Photoshops on FARC, that they're looking at a derivative product here. They're not looking they're looking at somebody who took something and messed around with it, and it isn't these guys doing it, and there's no association with it. The only time that runs in is when you've got something like, say, to pick one out at random, like White Castle hamburgers, which is notorious for being horrible.
Sure.
You will see Photoshops done of that. No, I haven't specifically done that, but where basically all the way down the line, it's all about people getting sick eating them.
So people are going to do it, but do you think that it's effective enough for marketers? I mean, does the upside outweigh the downside?
for marketers, it should, but they won't ever make that call. Marketers
Yeah.
aren't paid to improvise and innovate, and that's pretty much where it's going.
My guess is it'll actually be a huge spread between brands. I think NASCAR probably maybe for the most part probably cares maybe less. Or maybe is more open to a lot of different deployments. My guess is that
Burger King might be okay with
Burger King might be okay, that they're a little edgier. My guess is that, you know, the Church of Latter-day Saints would probably care a lot more about something where that content goes. So I think it's going to be a huge spread of where people say, you know, I'm okay with my brand, or I'm really, really not okay with my brand being out there wherever.
Final thoughts? Where this company, you know,
I think
words of advice?
it comes back to the thing I said probably in 3 or 4 Vator boxes. Maybe my utility as a host is wearing out. But that you can only have so many ad features that are ad networks. You can't have an infinite number of networks. They're going to have every publisher and every advertiser and so on. So
well, it's an editing tool, so they're going to be part of some other larger ad network.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're up for sale.
I think you'd have to drop back and punt.
Drop that and punt?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, final company, Carbonite, my favorite, has lots to do with advertising.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm David Friend. I'm the CEO of Carbonite, and we're a company that backs up your PC for $50 a year. I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is my 6th company since getting out of college, and what we're trying to do for backup is what Norton and McAfee did for antivirus.
Okay, so David Friend, great guy, definitely one of those passionate CEOs. So if you're betting on a team and an executive, he's a good guy. Plus, the utility is awesome.
I think it's a great product. I claim for spotting them for Always-On and throwing them on one of the 100 lists. I think it's a cool company. I think it's for them, though, at the end of the day, it's sort of like price, feature, distribution war. I mean, it's pretty much your basic microeconomic class. I mean, they have an offsite backup, they have a service, it costs some money. If they're going to get the distribution deal with Dell on everybody's desktop, or someone else is going to get that icon, and then they're going to win. So I think the trick is, how do you basically get out there and win as fast as you possibly can. I believe the consumers will want this. Nobody wants to have a second hard drive in their house which could burn down. Everybody wants to have this stuff somewhere else. So I think it's great. You just got to race and win.
Yeah, it's kind of a ubiquitous product, but I mean, when I was doing research on these guys, they seem to have been put in the right places. I mean, people are coming across them and seeing them, and that's about all you need really to succeed, so they keep that up, you know. It's a fairly ubiquitous product, but, I mean, if you can get out front, like Ezra said, it's home run.
I think they have, too. They've gotten a lot of traction.
Yeah, they have a lot of users.
They have a lot of users. So, anyway, I think it's a good product. He's a good entrepreneur, and I really just wanted to bring up Carbonite because I've always wanted to in a Vator Box.
It's one of the hottest digital media companies around.
Yeah, there's really no.
I think the early danger is whether or not George Lucas sues him for the kind of vague reference to Empire Strikes Back, but I guess we'll see.
Yes.
Okay. On that note,
or actually, I was thinking, aren't the suitcases Carbonite? So
yeah, the luggage guys.
The luggage guys. There's a lot of naming. Whatever.
Right.
So
we have to throw in a negative comment in there. Okay.
Hey, we're just trying to make it spicy.
So you can't let them get away without being slammed on, can you?
Yeah, they're great.
All right. Great. Thank you so much, Drew. That's it. We've covered our 3 companies. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Ezra.
All right.
You've been watching Vator Box, and if you would like us to discuss your company, just let us know. You could post a comment on the show, or you can email me through Vator, and that's about it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time on Vator TV.